Hello, welcome to Founder on Founder podcast, fourth episode powered by Phoebe Venture. Phoebe being the acronym of for entrepreneur by entrepreneur, 25 million USD venture capital firm, early stage tech in Vietnam and Southeast Asia, and we invested so far in 11 great startups. I'm very honored to welcome today Hang, CEO of SCommerce, a great logistic company in Vietnam, and also Fanny Moizant, co-founder and president of Vestiaire collective. And by the way, the full disclosure, I'm a Fanny brother. Welcome, everyone. So, Hang, would you please say a few words to our audience, which are mainly composed of young entrepreneurs in the region, a few words about your background and your current company?
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. My name is Hang, born and raised in Hanoi, but spent 10 years in the US working, studying before moving back to Vietnam in 2011. And since then, I set up and run an online travel company for 5 years, and then moving on doing logistics for another 5 years. SCommerce on the market, we are one of the pioneer last mile e-commerce last mile provider under the two brands, JSN and Aha Move. Yes, I could never imagine in my past life that I could ever do logistics. But here I am, 5 years later, still doing very well.
Fanny?
Yes, so Fanny, your sis. I'm currently based in Hong Kong, and as you said, I'm the co-founder and president of Vestiaire collective that I basically launched 12 years ago, back then from Paris with 5 fellow co-founders. And the beginning of the story was basically understanding that the fashion consumption has changed as the fashion industry has changed dramatically under the influence of fast fashion to a point where I felt back then that it became completely unsustainable. People were consuming way too much and discarding their clothes way too fast, so creating a very negative impact on the planet. So I really wanted back then to solve that problem and no more than to transform the fashion industry for a more sustainable future. So that was the starting point of Vestiaire, and fast forward almost 12 years after, I took, with my fellow co-founders and then my leadership team, the business around the world. So I personally relocated first to UK, where I led the development in Europe, and then more recently to Hong Kong 4 years ago, where I'm based, and I'm currently overseeing the Asian expansion, but also the direction of the company. And in numbers, Vestiaire is a platform with 11 million members across 80 countries. We've raised around 400 million euros and more recently announced a fundraising of 178 million euros, having and welcoming Kering, the luxury group, but also Tiger in the company, and being super proud to become a unicorn. So that's in a nutshell.
Great. Congratulations for this great achievement and this 11 years journey from Paris to 80 countries now in the world. And Ang also doing pretty well. Couple of thousand employees, I believe, and truckers, and also raised 100 million recently from Temasek, one of the largest investors in the world. Hang, would you please share with us a woman in tech that inspired you the most? Who is your role model in our industry?
I would have to name a friend of mine, Thủy Lê. She's a friend, a mother of 3, Iron Woman. She's also CEO of VinFast and VinSmart. VinFast and VinSmart, which is the two first, car making company and smart device making companies out of Vietnam, and now selling products in Vietnam, and they plan to sell it globally. Vingroup is the biggest conglomerate in Vietnam, and being an entrepreneur, that has a lot of advantage. I respect her so much for taking on a new industry, especially tech-driven industries, and learning things so fast and set up things so fast within 3 years only. So I often tell myself that, when I grow up one day, I would like to become CEO of a space company. That would be really cool. I don't want to make cars. I don't want to make smartphones. But yeah, building spaceship would be fun.
Yeah, for the one who don't know, VinFast being the kind of Tesla from Vietnam, and VinSmart being a smartphone company. So two great business. What about you, Fanny? Who do you admire in the industry?
In my field, I've always admired someone who was kind of precursor in selling luxury online. She's called Nathalie Massenet. She has founded Net-a-Porter in 2000. She's now co-chairman of Farfetch, and she more recently has launched her own fund called Imaginary Venture. And I think she was leading the way, at least in my industry, before any other woman. So I really respect that.
Great example indeed. And what about the advice based on your own experience and great career and with all the milestones that you reached in the last years? What you could share as an advice for the women and men who are listening to us today? Fanny, would you say a few words?
I mean, plenty. The first one I would want to share is listen and learn, but basically at the end of the day, follow your intuition, because you're going to have to make thousands of decisions almost a day. And you have to be comfortable with the decision-making process. And for me, it starts from the inside, from the guts. So I really need to feel comfortable with that and follow my intuition. A basic but very important one is being surrounded by people, at least at the starting point of the company, that are obviously amazing at what they do, but more importantly, that are complementing your own skills. I see too much people partnering with the same type of person as they are. And also another advice that could have been useful for me back then is really think global from day one. We started French and we had to quickly readjust. So it was a great learning curve to say we could have done things better and faster. In the very early days.
What about you, Ang? What do you like to share?
Sure. For me, I guess 3 things that I also wish someone told me when I first moved back to Vietnam and started my journey in Vietnam for the past decade. 1, hard work and resilience. I don't think anything can replace hard work, no matter how good of a salesperson you are. 2, especially for women, sometimes you really need to hustle and negotiate to get what you want. I think I learned this lesson a very hard way, and I still constantly have to remind myself to just step up and negotiate, because in Vietnam tradition, it's not normal for women to step up, be super confident, and start negotiating or asking for what we deserve. Not anything more, it's just what we deserve. And I still have to remind not only myself, but also my friends on doing exactly this thing. And 3, this can be a bit controversial, but I also learn a lot by just being financially independent, both at individual level and at the company level, just so that we always have the option to pick people we like to work with and partner with. Not only employees, co-founders, partner, customers, but also investors. And these people can make or break your venture very easily along the way. So make sure you have that option. But Phoebe is nice to work with. That I approve.
Thank you. So, Ang, you study at Harvard and have amazing track record. Could you say a few words about how to find mentors and people to support you at the beginning of the journey? Because I believe many ladies entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs are listening to you today, and they maybe would like to know your suggestion about that. Who can help them? How to find mentors in that tech space, and especially for female entrepreneurs?
Yes, looking back the past 10 years, I did not actively go out and look for mentors. But I think what happens very naturally is just people that I know and I keep in touch over the time naturally become my friends and mentors. So the lessons from that is just be authentic and truthful and add value before you ask for anything back. If we go out and proactively ask for a mentor, that's possibly asking too much. But I think just giving out is the first thing that we all should do. And second, that is what I also find in the Vietnam market. Sometimes you cannot find the people that you look up to, people who did it before, your perfect role model, which is fine. Go read books, keep your mind open, keep growing yourself, and you can be your own role model in the future. So I'm a bit extreme sometimes.
What about you, Fanny, in terms of network that you should recommend for female entrepreneurs?
No, I cannot say more than Hang. I think it's exactly that way. I always tell my team members to step out of the office and go out, network, meet people, talk, exchange, and that's also a way of creating value for yourself and for the company. So, yeah, I would encourage everybody to go for those networking opportunities and slowly build their own network and support system. But your advice, Fang, is really true that to receive, you have to give first. So don't hesitate to give. And I think especially for women, it's also important to have a strong support system at home. So try to find a supportive partner first, and then build around you what you need to be comfortable managing both a demanding career and your life at home.
And Fanny, how the tech companies and the startup could do even better to encourage diversity, inclusivity for women in tech? Do you have any ideas, any stuff to share?
I can tell you what we do at Vestiaire, and I think we work pretty hard on the topic. So 3 examples: recruitment. So we are training the teams to an unbiased recruitment process, and we make sure that in the process we have a male and female interviewing the candidates. We ensure no pay gaps between female and male at the same level of experience. What we've launched also that I'm pretty passionate about is what we call internally a task force. So it's basically employees that are leading substreams about what they feel passionate about.
So what's your advice about how tech companies can increase diversity and inclusion?
So you may not believe this, but in a very male-dominated industry like logistics and logistic tech, at the manager level up, I think women make up about 30 to 40% of the key senior roles in our company. And that's not because we put in any amazing, female promotion policy, but just because the women work harder. Pure truth. So I guess my suggestion then would be create a merit-based culture where you promote and grow people, no matter who they are, as long as they deserve it, they deserve a higher rank. Second, be aware of the gender bias and making sure that you build that in some sort of recruitment process or learning and development process internally. That helps a lot. But of course, the mindset of the leaders is the most critical factor. And as long as, your top leaders and the senior executives are on board, we are all good to go.
Fanny, what do you do at Vestiaire Collective to improve and increase diversity?
So first few figures also, at Vestiaire we have 60% of women. So very female-led, and we have 2 female co-founders in the leadership team.
Which is, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but potentially more easy in fashion than in logistics.
Maybe.
Everyone likes to be in fashion.
47% of women in leadership, and yes, around 20 in the tech, product, and data teams. So what we do technically is unbiased recruitment processes that we've put in place, the no pay gap policy. We have that amazing initiative, which is a task force led by employees, and in that task force we have a stream about women empowerment that promotes gender equality, help women have advance through leadership position in the company. We have a stream dedicated about parents and how we can help parents in the company to have more space in nursery, to have the sick days, leaves for kids, and many other things. And finally, we have a Women in Tech initiative. So we have a female-only leadership tech lab that we're launching this year, basically where we commit to hire female interns and to mentor them by giving them special events and one senior mentor in the company, in the team. And we're also partnering with different women-led tech organizations to advance that topic internally. So we're quite proud to advance that.
Wow, very inspiring. I guess many startups can learn from that. But thank you so much, Hang. Thank you so much, Fanny, for taking the time. I know you're both very busy, for sharing all those insights. I guess it's great that strong leaders like you are taking the time to give back to the community and inspire I would say, the ecosystem, and especially to try to convince many female to enter in the tech space and give them the chance to prove the quality and to be promoted and to create businesses. That's fantastic. And we need more people like you. Thank you so much. Wish you a great weekend to both of you. Bye-bye.